Guys, Clinton Sparks here. And as we continue this journey to teach you how to win big in the music business, one of the things that's crucial and important for building an audience and getting brand awareness and getting maximum promotion for your product and your music is to get promotion on websites and blogs and whatnot. So we have my boy, who is the editor-in-chief of EDM.com, Jason Heffler, who's going to help you get your music exposed on the websites that make sense for your music to build your audience and get your music heard. So, Jason, thank you for doing this.
Of course.
So let's start off with how important having DSPs, having Spotify and Apple and Amazon and all these places where artists can just go put their music up. How important are music websites still today for people to promote their music and build an audience?
I think they're crucial, man. There are hundreds of thousands of songs out there now because everyone can just submit their own. So, especially during this pandemic where everyone's eyes are glued to their phones, their iPads, their laptops all day, people tend to, find a couple blogs and pubs that they trust and they gravitate to. Yeah. And if you're able to get featured on them, it could serve as a major launching point.
Right. So you think that so if I'm in my room and I decide, I just made this hot record, man, the whole world needs to hear this song. So most people just go to their social feeds, right? Like, just dropped a new song, right? And then, if they're a little bit more sophisticated, they'll understand, especially if they watch this course, how crucial it is to have it on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and all the DSPs that are available for you. Which, by the way, in the course, there's the products that give you over 100 DSPs that you should have your music on. But you think that on top of having it on all of these places, it's crucial and important for them to have it on websites to create more brand awareness of their music, because everyone's not following them. So how else are they going to get people to hear the music if they're not having platforms like EDM.com saying you need to listen to this?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about leveraging the distribution and the eyes that we have and they don't, right? I mean, it's just like any other business transaction.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's all about cutting through all the noise of all the hundreds of thousands of songs that are submitted to Spotify every day.
So respectable websites can almost be the bottleneck in the funnel for an audience to look at as a trusted source to know that this is worthy to listen to because a site like EDM.com promoted it and we trust their taste.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like the ultimate cosign.
Right. So how does an artist, I'm in my bedroom, I'm a brand new artist, I don't have any, credibility yet in the marketplace, I don't have any endorsements from anybody popular or any other websites. I'm brand new, I made a hot record, my favorite site is EDM.com. How do I go about soliciting my music to a prominent website like you, and what would make you listen or read my email?
Yeah, so I mean, it's obviously tricky, and it's a case by case with every editor. But with me, it's all about storytelling. If you send an email or you send a LinkedIn message or Facebook, any of that, and you just say, "I've got this banger, this festival banger," and that's it.
Yeah.
What would incentivize me to share that with our readers? So, if you send an email and you introduce yourself and you say, "My name is X, the inspiration behind my music is X, I've gone through this experience that inspired me to make this song.
Right.
Check it out," I will gravitate. And if the story is incredible, I don't care if you have no following, I'll put it out. So It's all about the story behind the song and not the song itself. And that's not to say, the song has to be quality, obviously, but it needs to have some kind of substance to incentivize us to share your story with everyone else.
So rather than just sending a song saying, here's my brand new song, it's called XYZ, it slaps, can you guys post it? It's better
Yeah.
for them to say, give some more substance and a little bit of a story. But that's also a slippery slope because they could now write you a book and you're like, I'm not reading this whole email about this story.
Yes, I mean, and that's a common misconception too, is that people think they need to write this novel of an email, but we get hundreds of pitches a week, so it's very hard to go through all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could just condense it into a 4 to 5 sentence paragraph,
yeah,
that's ideal. Yeah, and you can it's not about your song being lit. There needs to be something special in order for it to resonate with all the other people out there.
So basically, their email needs to be constructed in a manner that they're selling themselves before they're selling the product. Which
exactly. It's just like anything else. Like if you make a relationship with a person, a human connection, that goes miles if you want to market yourself.
Right. Has there been artists that you didn't necessarily like the music, but then you got to know them and all of a sudden now the music is better?
Yes.
Right.
Constantly. Always. Right. Yeah. I mean, people reach out to me on LinkedIn, Facebook, mm-hmm. and instead of off the bat saying something like, "Hey, I have a new song out. Can you hear it?" They say, "Hey, I would love to give you a call and have a Zoom and just, talk about music and just shoot it."
Yeah.
And then we talk for an hour. We just talk about what they're listening to, what they're producing,
right.
And we make a connection. And if I like you, I'll cover you.
Right. Well, that's good to know. See, a lot of you guys out there, you got to see, man, it's not just about having dope music. It's also about being a good person, understanding how to communicate, right. Understanding how to network, understanding how to build relationships with people like Jason, and not always just be asking. Maybe you find out what's of Jason's interest, and maybe you share something with him that you've seen him post about last week, and now all of a sudden you grab his attention. You're like, oh, this dude sent me a dope article about this thing that I care about. So
yeah, exactly.
Right. So
I mean,
right.
So yeah. One more thing. I mean, going off that. They can ask, right? And they don't think there's any give and take. Like they think that we should just do them a favor by covering them, but there should always be a give and take. They should say, I think your readers will really respond. I think they'll like this. Right. So it's a win-win in that way, if that makes sense.
No, totally. So that's you. But that's again, you guys understanding your business, understanding the audience that you're going after. So if you understand, say, for instance, EDM.com's audience and what resonates with them and what usually works on their site, then it's easier for you to tell somebody like Jason, here's why I think this will work for your audience based off of this. So you are a brand and you are a business. And for you to succeed, then you've got to do market research. And that's understanding the audience that you're going after and understanding the platforms that you would like to partner with or have a relationship with. Now, rejection. No artist wants to deal with rejection, especially when they feel they have the greatest music in the world and it's better than the last 10 people that you posted on your site, in their opinion.
Yeah.
So how does one deal with, or how do you suggest one deals with if they sent you a record 5 different times, 20 different emails, they keep telling you the things like you're suggesting now, like, here's why I think it's hot, based on this song you posted last week, I think this would make sense for your audience. Now, what if you overlook it, it goes to spam, you just don't happen to like it, and now they get in their feelings and they're pissed. What do you suggest to somebody not to do that would be, give them no shot at ever getting on their site? And then the second part of that is, where should they go after you don't respond, after they keep making many attempts? So 2-part question.
Okay, yeah. So what you do not do is, dox them in a public manner. Don't go on Twitter. Don't use the Twitter fingers and call us out. that will immediately just shut the book.
Yeah.
But I think it's, this might sound trite, but persistence. Like if you just respond politely and say, I appreciate the time. Maybe I'll catch you on the next one. That's just, and then you just have to keep being persistent, because all it takes is one email back, and you'll get covered.
Right.
Like every day is different. We wake up and we may drink 50 cups of coffee, and we might just send a million emails, and that's the day that you get a good email back. So it's just persistence, and you just have to keep a level head and just keep trying.
So
yeah,
the two answers out of that, so they're clear, is one, if you don't get the response you're looking for, or they actually pass, and I'm sure you send emails that say, hey, we're going to pass on this one, doesn't fit.
Respectfully pass.
Right?
Yeah.
So now some people get mad at that. They're like, oh, they're hating. It's like, no, bro, it just doesn't fit, or it doesn't work in the schedule, or it's not that editor's taste, or whatever it is, right? So one, don't go on social media and blasting them. Don't send back something negative, and don't shit on somebody else's project to try to uplift your own, right? So
yeah, and it also helps. It also helps to be it helps to be inquisitive, right? If you respond and you say, hey, what can I do to get your attention here? Like, what is it? I will respond and let you know.
Right.
I will say, I love your music. It's just, I just didn't like this part, or, it's just not the right fit for the section that they pitched, stuff like that. So all you have to do is ask, right? My mom always, this is like a expression that she said for years. She said, the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Yeah.
Just ask, and we'll tell you.
I mean, that's perfect advice. It's so simple, and shout to your mom, because
it's so simple. Yeah.
My whole life, my friends would always be enamored by how I was able to just get so many things done, or have people do so many things for me simply because I asked. You know what I mean? They're like, I can't believe you asked.
It doesn't hurt to ask for help. Yeah.
I can't believe you would ask them to do that for you. And I'm like, why would I not ask? Because why would they do that for you? Why would they not? You know what I mean? Like, that's how I look at it. So the worst thing they can say is no. You know what I mean? So, and then I can take your advice and say, oh, can I ask why you wouldn't be able to do this for me? And they may say, well, because I don't have time on this day that you needed me to do it. Then I simply say, oh, then could you do it on this day? Yeah, I can get it done that day. It's just being inquisitive, like you said, and being cordial and personable and kind and polite and respectful of their time.
Yes, because I feel like there's this misconception with journalists where we're these like malicious, negative, no, but that's not the case, right? It's just that it's physically impossible to answer 1,000 emails a day.
Right.
And whenever I respectfully pass on a piece, it's not the right fit. It's never a malicious thing. So they just need to know that it's okay to ask, and I'll respond. Like, you're looking at a guy who dealt with rejection for years. I mean, as you can hear, I have a stutter. It's something that I've dealt with my entire life. Rejection out the wazoo.
Yeah.
And the more I got rejected, the more I, introspectively thought, how can I spin this into a positive?
Yeah.
And I would constantly ask. And finally, people would respond, and I took it to heart. And I instilled it in my music and my writing, and then things started to happen.
I have two quick stories that will help you guys watching this right now. One, when I was coming up and I was trying to get my music on the local radio station in Boston, where I'm from, Emerson College Radio had the big hip hop show. So every week I would try to bring a song up there, and I kept getting rejected. No, not this one. No, I'm not feeling it. No, not this one. I never caught feelings over it. I never got angry, and I never got emotional. Every week when he'd say no, I'm like, damn, let me go back to my studio and make something else. He's got to love this one. No, damn it. Go back and make another one. Oh, there's no way he's going to say no to this one. Said no. So then what I did is I sat and I listened to the dude's show to kind of understand his taste and how he thinks. Once I realized the songs that he got most excited about on his show, I was like, I'm going to just make something that's in that world So it's familiar sounding to him. And then he'll be like, oh, I'm feeling this one. And that's exactly what I did. So I made something that catered to his taste. Now, somebody may say, I'm not going to change my style to fit this guy. It's a business. I'm not saying change your style. Figure out a way. In that case, that was my way of figuring out how to get in the door. So I just added some elements that I knew would be attractive to him. And from there on in, you never not heard me every week. Every week I was on that show since then. So that's one story. Another thing, DJ Khaled, who I'm sure most of you guys know, we came up together. And I remember 15 years ago, over 15 years ago, the number one thing I would hear from labels, because at that time I was at my peak in mixtapes, and I'd go in asking for freestyles and exclusives and all this type of stuff. And the number one thing I would hear constantly, and Khaled was my buddy, and I would hear, we got to get Khaled this record because the dude won't stop calling us. He just nags us all day. He's such a pain in the ass, right? So like that dude, if you see his new video with Drake for Popstar, the way he's nagging Drake, that's really Khaled. He's been doing that for 20 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying go be a pain in the ass, but what I'm saying is you got to be persistent, but you got to find the fine line between persistence and annoyance. I get DM from people all the time that all they say is like, I'm not going to stop till you sign me. I'm going to make you $1 billion. And they tell me these things that just, this dude's annoying. But when there's other people that say, hey man, that was a dope song you put out the other day. Or yo dude, I just dropped the next record if you got time to listen to it. And they just gently kind of nudge you like, I'm here, ready when you are to work or listen to my music or whatnot. I literally respond to everyone that talks to me like that. And after a few times, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, I was constantly seeing them in my DMs, inevitably, I'm going to recognize the respectful way that they're approaching me, and I'm going to reach back out to them. So it's as Jason said, being persistent and consistent, right?
100%. Yep. And it can be difficult to convey tone, online.
Right.
But it's really not that hard. It's not that hard to be respectful in an email or a message.
Right.
And people, if you're humble, you can realize that and will respond.
Right. Now,
yeah.
Does it help you, or is it annoying if somebody tells you, I'm already on this site and this site and that site, why can't you guys post me? Does that help you in the sense of, oh damn, they're already making a lot of noise, maybe I should jump on this? Or is it more like, bro, I don't give a shit that you're on all those other sites. Like, if you want to get on here, focus on this.
That's neither here nor there with me. I think it definitely helps, in terms of clout, right? But with me, I don't really care, as long as they're not using that as the main part of the pitch.
Yeah.
I don't care, but if they say, hey, by the way, I've been covered by DJ Mag and Mix Mag and all them,
right.
That's totally fine.
Right. How about when a site like you guys do post on the actual website? There's obviously a difference from the website and your socials. Everyone that's on the website wants you guys to then sell it on socials. How do you guys, or how does a website determine if a record does get mentioned or showcased or highlighted on a website, that it's now going to get onto the socials? And how would, say, an artist like myself, if I'm a new artist and I'm like, oh, EDM's going to post my record, is it getting an inch and asking for a mile if I then say, can you put it on your socials? Or how do I then make that request?
It's a lot of stuff goes into that, but visuals definitely help.
Mm-hmm.
Videos and visuals, if it's engaging, it'll do well on socials. So if you have some kind of visual aspect to accompany the song, that definitely helps. But I don't really have a formula for socials.
Right.
I just know that you have to have some kind of engaging asset,
right,
for us to put out there.
So then
it's just a song.
Yeah. So then people that are pitching should be mindful of, if they want to maximize the promotional output that you guys can give, getting on your social as well as the website, part of that pitch should include, hey, and I got this sick visual you guys can put on Instagram, or this
definitely
cover. Great.
Yeah,
I think
the
that,
more assets you have, yeah, the more assets you have, I mean, the better chance you have for sure. Because people just on Twitter, everyone's just scrolling
right,
super fast. Like,
yeah,
you got to have something that will make you stop.
right. I think
Yeah.
that might be one of the most important pieces of this interview with you for the course, because I don't even know if I ever thought of making a pitch in a way that was, I'm very thorough, quick, and concise about here's why you should post it, here's why it's dope, here's the benefit to you, and here's why it would be whack if you didn't post it, right? So like I'm pretty good at like that. But what I've never done, I don't think, was like, here's a tool that helps you help me, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yep.
if I'm giving you a dope 30-second clip for your Instagram that makes your page look sexy because you got some dope visual, why would you not want to post something slick like that up? So if I do the work already for you and I say, oh, and here's a dope 30-second video for your stories and for this, you guys are constantly looking for content to post. So if I'm creating something dope, you're not going to
Yep.
pass, right?
Exactly. We're always looking for cool stuff to post. Like, and this all goes back to the whole give and take thing, right? Like, if we decide to share your stuff, you should have cool assets for
Right.
us, and it's a win-win for both of us.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's a powerful tip. So I think that in this video we learned how to be persistent, consistent, what not to do when pitching your music, the best way to construct kind of a pitch in an email to you guys, creating more assets and more substance that makes you guys want to help even more than just throwing it up there. I think we learned a lot. If you guys don't know how to solicit to a website after watching this video, then I don't know, maybe you'll never get it. So
I wouldn't say that.
I'm joking. But yeah, so
Yeah.
find the website that makes the most sense for the music that you're trying to promote, and that's on brand with what you're doing. Find out. Here's a question. How can one find out who the important people are at a specific website? Now, don't just be mindful of your own, because you're an artist yourself. So how does one go about finding the right, you happen to be the editor-in-chief or writer of a blog?
Research. All
Right?
the information's out there. Research.
Oh,
Google it. It takes 30 seconds. But very easy.
so give them a tip.
Quick
What do they
search.
Google? What do they Google?
Google my name, email. I'm sure it's out there. I mean, the internet is a vast place. And when I started pitching myself out,
Yeah.
I would go through each site, and I would go through each writer, and I would make a spreadsheet, and
Yeah.
I would write the names, and then I would just type in their name and their email and search the first 5 Google pages.
Yeah.
There's really no other way to do it. And it's just good old fashioned research.
Right. And man, it's like,
Yeah.
that's another big
It takes
key.
time too. And you have to take the time to pitch yourself. And that's what it takes.
That's another big key. I've done that myself. And when I wanted to get in Forbes, I would go through articles in Forbes that were similar to what I was trying to pitch. I'd look at the writers, see what they write about, write their names, look them up online, and I'd email them and I'd say, hey, I seen the story you wrote about this. I have something that fits in the same realm, and then just give them that 4 or 5 line that you were saying. And that's what it comes down to.
Exactly. Yep.
It's about taking the time to do the work. But my main goal in this course is not only to show you how to do it, but to also make you see the things that maybe you didn't see before on how to do it. So anyone can say, I want to get these articles, I want to get these magazines and whatnot, but everyone doesn't think about, oh, I should go look at writers, make a spreadsheet, find out who they are, and solicit my music to them. So these are the tips and the powerful tools that I want you guys to learn and understand, and it takes time to really build your brand. I'll tell you, when you build it this way, you're going to build long-term sustainable relationships that you can continue to scale your business. You going to say?
And you brought up another really important thing too that I forgot about, is that when you do find the writers, you should be personalizing the pitch, because writers can see right through it if it's a copy paste. If it's a copy paste pitch, that you sent to 100 writers. We know that.
Yeah.
And you should, if you really want to start the relationship, personalize it and say, hey, I saw you wrote about this. I loved it. This is how I think I could maybe emulate that.
Right.
That's like, where at least for me, that is crucial. Just don't send a canned copy paste pitch that is obvious.
Is that now? I know a lot of people send out mass emails like that, right? Especially publicists. Whenever I hire a publicist, which we talk about publicists in this course, one thing you want to make sure you say to your publicist is don't just make one email and send a mass email out, because writers know, and it just looks like spam. It looks like, whatever. You didn't care enough about me to tell me specifically about this. I don't really care enough about you to see what you said to everybody else. Like you can't just love me the same way you're loving everybody else. Really, basically, right?
Exactly. And honestly, it even comes down to just the name. Like if you just say, hey, Jason, and then you have your pitch, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, just take a little time to personalize it somehow,
right?
Instead of just a straight copy and paste.
Right. And then
and that's just me, by the way. I don't speak for all editors and writers.
No, I think a lot of people will concur.
I think so too. Yeah.
Sure. So guys, this is how you solicit your music to major websites like EDM.com. If you're making house music, electronic music, then this is the site. There's no better, bigger site than EDM.com. This is the guy that's in charge, Jason. So after you watch this, you actually got a little bit more insight to find out exactly who runs it. So go nag him now with your music. And now you know how to, because Jason's a nice guy. Everyone's not a nice guy, by the way. Everyone's not a nice guy. Jason's one.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I really am all ears. Like I want to share good, solid stories. So hit me up.
Right. So we talked about, from an artist point of view, on how to get heard and how to get your music exposed on websites. In the next video, I'm going to talk to Jason, who happens to be the editor-in-chief of EDM.com. For those that want to be a journalist, for those that want to be a writer, for those that want to do reviews, how to best work your way up to becoming to a level that Jason is at, and some of the steps you need to take and how to deal with artists and whatnot. We'll talk about that in the next video.